4 million people have just quit their jobs, and you should be one of them. Hey, what's up, homies? Matt Lurker here. The US economy is in a wild place right now. We've got a chip shortage, lumber shortage, and worst of all, as the chicken sandwich wars are raging on, we are in the middle of a chicken shortage. We've also got a labor shortage and millions of people quitting their jobs, but let's not let the macroeconomic issues undermine my personal struggles of loving a good chicken sandwich and not being able to have one often enough. Jokes aside though, 4 million people quit their jobs in April, just April, and I think a lot of them had a great reason. So today I'm going to tell you all about that and why maybe you should be one of them. What makes this even crazier though is that just a year ago, everyone was craving job security. People were getting laid off left and right, and it was a high priority to keep your job because the future was uncertain. And I think that this says a lot about the economic outlook that the average American has right now. It makes sense that if you're not sure what the future holds, then you're going to do everything in your power to save your money and make sure that you're not doing anything to put your job in jeopardy. And a global pandemic is definitely a time when job security is going to come into question. Right now though, millions of people are leaving their jobs, and it comes down to 3 main reasons why most people are leaving. And all of them are pretty important, but the last one is about how to make more money by leaving. Before we get into that though, I do have a very urgent announcement. This year, the world is suffering in new ways. The United States is in the middle of a chicken sandwich war with an availability of chickens at an all-time low. Every day, someone out there goes without a chicken sandwich and loses a part of their soul because of it. We are on a mission to stop this and are asking you for donations. We don't want your money though. We want your prayers. In the classic Facebook of 2007 manner, we ask that you like this video to support the cause because 1 like equals 1 prayer. Thank you for your donations. Our organization is vastly in need of these likes. We would not be able to do what we do without the support of your donations. Thank you again. I bet you thought I was done with jokes. I'm never done with jokes. Chick-fil-A, please sponsor me. Alright, back to business. There's 3 main reasons why people are quitting their jobs, and the first one is because of some level of rage quitting. Thankfully, not everyone has a public freakout moment that ends up on YouTube for everyone to see. But whether you've been working through the pandemic or if you've just gone back to work as your states open back up, I'd be willing to bet that you've experienced some level of added stress or responsibility without the extra compensation you feel like you deserve. That alone will add a lot of extra tension to your workplace, and it's only compounded if you're also not making the amount that you feel like you should be earning. For example, Business Insider recently shared this story of Kendra, a Dollar General employee who's been experiencing some friction at her workplace since the beginning of the pandemic. Pre-pandemic, she enjoyed her minimum wage job, even though it didn't pay very much, because she enjoyed being able to socialize with the regulars and it gave her a reason to get out of the house, and it wasn't too demanding on her outside of work hours. Immediately once the pandemic began though, she said that management became more stressed and started to critique her on everything that they said she was doing wrong, which added some extra friction. And I get it, it's tough to manage a store that nobody actually shops at when you've got your regional managers coming down on you about how badly the store is performing. I totally get that. But Kendra felt like management was just projecting their own issues onto the employees, and eventually she snapped. It wasn't some violent freak out, but Kendra said that one time when her manager was communicating with her in a way that she didn't feel like was best, she snapped, she couldn't take it anymore, she quit on the spot and never came back. Kendra's is not an isolated event though by any means. With all the additional stress that people have been under, the amount of junk that they're willing to put up with from an employer has dropped to an all-time low. This leads me to my next point, and it's that as a society, we're starting to place a lot more value onto our mental health and not on the bottom line of our employer. We all spent a lot of time just alone with our thoughts over the past year, and many of us came to the conclusion that we don't like our boss, or we don't like our job, or even our industry as a whole, and we want out. Many of us have decided not to go back to jobs that we used to do, or we used the pandemic as an opportunity to leave an employer or a situation that just wasn't healthy for us. Along these same lines, many Americans are now searching for employers who share the same values that they do, whether those are environmental concerns or just promoting a good work-life balance. For many, part of a good work-life balance is the ability to work from home. While you may not like it, many of us were told that work from home is the new normal, and we'd like it to stay that way. Personally, I love working from home. It gives me the opportunity to do my day job in the morning and then immediately get started on YouTube videos or just hang out with my wife for the day. Many Americans have fully embraced this lifestyle. Rather than bringing back a 30-minute commute to a dingy office downtown, workers would rather have more control over their workday rather than a more micromanaging from a boss down the hall. In fact, a survey of 1,000 workers last month indicated that 39% of employees would consider quitting their jobs if their employer tried to force them to go back to the office. And that number is even higher for the younger generations, where 49% of millennials and Gen Z employees would consider quitting their jobs. I think work from home is here to stay for many industries, and the younger part of the labor force is advocating for this already. Now, the third, and I think the most important reason people are quitting their jobs is more competitive pay offered by someone else. Let's face it, the labor shortage has made it incredibly difficult for employers to actually find those who are willing to work for them. This has led to great incentives offered just to show up for a job interview and huge bonuses to employees just to get them to stay at that job. Like at this law firm, they were offering $250,000 bonuses to junior employees just to ensure that they would stay with the firm. And while that probably sounds crazy to you, because it is, these mega bonuses are starting to become expected at a certain professional level, because the reality is that some companies are losing their top talent to their competitors, and they have to find some way to make them stay. Employees are starting to find truth in the fact that if they either quit and switch jobs or leverage a job offer for a promotion, then they're going to make much more money over the course of their career. According to this Forbes article, it's important to switch jobs very often to maximize your earning potential, because those who stay at a job for more than 2 years end up making 50% less than those who are willing to job hop from company to company. Workers are leaving their current jobs in hopes for finding better employment that offers higher pay, and this makes sense on a number of levels. Firstly, who doesn't want more money? And second, the household income for many people in the United States decreased during the pandemic, so one person may need to make up for the lost income of a spouse. As an employee, it can be very difficult to get a feel for company culture without actually working in that office, but it's very easy to compare salary offers, and it generally makes sense to go with whoever is going to pay you the most money for your labor. And I know that this won't last forever, and you should understand that too. So I think it's a great time to take a serious look at your current employer and see if your skills might be in higher demand somewhere else that pays better. And if I can leave you with some sage wisdom from a college professor that I had on our last day of our macroeconomics course, he said 2 things. Number 1, even if you like your job, always be updating your resume and always be interviewing. Number 2, there is no such thing as company loyalty. It does not exist. Let me know what you guys think about his advice and whether he was just a crazy old man or whether he's spot on with what he said. As always, I love you guys, and I'll catch you next time.